Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video, gonna do a review of the GlenAllachie 10-year-old batch number 8 cask strength Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey. Now, this is batch number 8, which is kind of an older release, but you can still find it on the shelves. Currently, the most recent batch is batch number 12, which has the same casking, although it says, as you'll see in the notes, red wine cask. This specifically is Rioja. They don't specify what kind of red wine cask is used in the number 12. Could be the same, could be some other red wine. They also changed the label on batch number 12. I kind of like this font that they used on this. As you see, the name, what the name of GlenAllachie means. It's kind of fitting. It looks like, I don't know, like something from the Flintstones, but I don't imagine that Fred Flintstone would be seen in a whiskey bar. Or would he?
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, they're the modern Stone Age family. From the town of Bedrock, they're a page right out of his story.
So, as you can see here, I've got a few other GlenAllachies. This is the 12-year-old. This is the 13-year-old Madeira cask. I've not reviewed this one yet. I will in the near future. And this is the 18-year-old. I've been to 49 distilleries in Scotland. Been to Scotland 4 times thus far. Not been to GlenAllachie, so it is now on my to-do list. This one's a little sharp from a neck part on the palate, but it's a cask strength, so what do you expect? And it could use just a drop of water to bring everything together. So I'm going to give her just a drop, and as I let this intermingle with the whiskey, here are my notes. GlenAllachie Distillery is located in the town of Aberlour, in the heart of Speyside at the foot of Ben Rennes in the northeast of Scotland. GlenAllachie derives its name from an old Scottish Gaelic phrase which translates to Valley of the Rocks. The distillery was founded in 1967 by McKinlay McPherson. In 2017, Sheavis Brothers agreed to sell GlenAllachie to former Ben Riach master distiller Billy Walker, Tricia Savage, and ex-Inverhouse distillers Graham Stevenson, who came together to form the GlenAllachie Distillers Company. They have a stainless steel semi-lauter mash tun. They use 6 stainless steel washbacks. They have 4 stills, that is 2 lantern-shaped wash stills and 2 onion-shaped spirit stills, and they use shell and tube condensers. The GlenAllachie 10-year-old cask strength batch 8 Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey was matured in Oloroso sherry puncheons, Pedro Jimenez puncheons, a small quantity of virgin oak, and Rioja red wine casks. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color, is bottled at 57.2% alcohol by volume, and sells for anywhere between $75 and $99 in my neighborhood. So I tried this neat, and it did have a bit of a bite. So just a drop of water will help tame the bite just a little bit. It also brings it together. As you saw the casting there, Oloroso, Pedro Jimenez, and then a little bit of virgin oak and this red wine cask. I think these casks were part of under the original owner. Then when they got bought, they recast them, putting virgin oak and a red wine cask to sort of give some vibrance and bring in more complexity to the whiskey. In my last 2 trips to Scotland, I saw a number of distilleries using virgin oak, or at least I saw the casks. So when you do a tour of the distillery, they don't necessarily point out, and we're doing this over here, and this is a future project over here, da 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 da. You just have to kind of have your eyes open as to what's going on other than what the tour guide is showing you, and perhaps ask questions. So I saw at a number of distilleries they would have pallets and the brand new casks. unmistakably new cask. You know, they didn't previously contain anything else. And then they were wrapped with plastic to hold it on to the palate. So then I asked, oh, you got some new cask? Oh, yes, we're using a little bit of virgin oak. So what does virgin oak bring to a whiskey? Well, I have a bottle of Laphroaig here. It's 100% virgin oak. And as you can see there, it has a lot of color. It looks slightly red. When Taylor Migliano and I visited the distillery, they first asked us, you know, what do you think the casting is, just based on looking at it. And I thought it was a red wine cask because it had a slight red tinge to it. But it turned out to be virgin oak. We then tasted it, and it was very sort of tannic and astringent, and it really was sort of overwhelming the whiskey. So I thought, well, that's not going to work. But you don't see out on the market whiskeys with 100% virgin oak. Even if they're called virgin oak, such as the Danston, they start off with bourbon cask, maybe second fill bourbon cask, maybe first fill, and then they finish it with virgin oak. Virgin oak, because you're getting such an intense extraction and freshness of wood characteristics, vanilla and spice, you only want to use a little bit. So I think they're finishing in a virgin oak or spending some time in a virgin oak just to give it a little extra punch of spice and that sort of slight newness of vanilla characteristics from a virgin oak. The red wine cask bring in another layer of flavors. Use some red floats. Bring some red floats. Some red fruit notes. If you have red fruit notes, it's a red float. When you're 56 years old. How old am I? When you're 58 years old. I had to remind myself. So, red fruit notes. And before I put it in water, I noticed it was mostly getting like the Oloroso cask and the Pedro Jimenez cask sort of up front and into the middle. And then the virgin oak would show up about middle to third way back. And then the red wine cask would show up on the finish and sort of trailing off. When I drop just a drop of water into it, it sort of brings everything together and then changes the overall profile of the aromas and the flavors. So, get a lot of sweetness on the nose, a lot of floral notes, dark, dried black fruit notes, raisins. Still get a little bit of that fruit berry character, a little bit of grape, just a hint of spice, a little bit of vanilla on the palate. This is where the whiskey changes. When you put a little bit of water into it, not only does it bring those characteristics all together, but I think it's a combination of the virgin oak, all the vanilla character, and the red wine with the PX, that sweetness. It becomes slightly chocolatey. Most whiskeys that I experience chocolate notes tend to be a characteristic of peated whiskeys, which I really, really like. But this has like a Cadbury egg note. You know, those Easter eggs? Actually, we're coming up on Easter in the next couple of weeks. That Cadbury Easter egg, when you break it open, there's that creamy center. I get something similar to that. Good transitions. It's not completely homogenized, even though the water does help bring things together. It finishes with just a little bit of spice. Most say just straight up sherry cask finished whiskeys or sherry cask whiskeys, you get a more intense spice. The spice on this is actually quite light in comparison to a lot of other sherry cask whiskeys. I think it's well balanced. It's got a nice mouthfeel. And I actually could probably put just another drop of water into it. Not too much. It's pretty much sweet all the way through, from front, in the middle, into the finish. And it maintains the texture, a slight thickness, because still having all the oils in it, and a nice round mouth coating feel. I really, really like this whiskey. I think the virgin oak and the red wine casks make the whiskey seem, to some extent, younger than it actually is. It doesn't have any new making characteristics, obviously, but that freshness of the fruit, and this depends on whether you like it or not, the freshness of the fruit and the virgin oak sort of, I think, mask the age, the sort of older characteristics that you get from a whiskey that sometimes I kind of really, really like. So it's a younger tasting whiskey with some nice complexity to it, a nice mouth feel to it, and a fairly lengthy finish. So I highly recommend this whiskey if you can still get a bottle, batch number 8. I'm not probably going to keep my eyes open for a batch number 12. I'd like to do a head-to-head comparison of them. If you can still find this for south of $100, I would say go ahead and buy it. What would I give it in terms of a score? I'll go like 89, 90 points. Well, would I like to get it over? Perhaps a little bit more variation, a little bit more something of a oomph in the mid palate. I like it, but actually I would really like to try the 10-year-old cask strength without the extra additions to it and do a comparison. See, was it really, really maybe a better whiskey without the additional casking to it? But I really, really like it. So if you see it on the shelves and you can get it for under $100, I would highly recommend it. If it's, say 110, 120 and north of that, I'd probably, I think there are other cask strength whiskeys, sherry cask whiskeys out there on the market, say like Highland Park, that I would probably go for. But nevertheless, I think it's absolutely fantastic. All right, if you've had batch number 8, let me know down below. If you've had in the other batches that you really, really liked, let me know about them below, particularly batch number 12. Curious to hear what you might think about that. All right, until next time, yabba dabba doo. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and check out these other whiskey videos.
A gay old town.